friends, Nibs again, out here in the garage, just doing a little tinkering around. I wanted to do a little work on this Winchester 435 of mine. I know this thing can shoot better than what it did on my previous outing with this thing, testing out those Norma pellets, so I want to do a little bit of tinkering with it and see if we can make some improvements. So it's going to be a real quick one for us here today, but I bring you down here to the bench top here. I wanted to get a little bit better scope on there, so I went from the 2.5 power over to a Weaver K4. Got some more solid rings here too, so I won't hopefully get any scope creep from this guy. These should hold a lot better. The other ones were way too tall, and this is a Weaver K4, which I've used on a lot of springers before, and they really hold up well and give me a good really good sight picture, and are a great power for 25 yards for a springer, or for any rifle for that matter. But the main thing I did though was I did some adjusting on the trigger. Before, the lowest I could get it down was about 3 pounds, just under 3 pounds, which isn't terrible, but I know it can be better. So there's a couple of adjustment screws here, but there's actually a little piece of folded metal that the main adjustment screw goes through, and it was bottoming out before it ever got to where it was actually. So what happens is when you pull back on the trigger, that adjustment screw actually hits a pivot point, and that's what causes the sear to fall. But that little piece of metal was bent outward, so that adjustment was never actually able to land and give us a good sear, not engagement, but disengagement, I guess you could say. It was never using that adjustment as the pivot point. Also, the spring that was in there was inordinately heavy, so I actually found one. It's not terribly lighter, but it is a good bit lighter on the spring rate on that actual spring that does the whole trigger mechanism return that actually sets the sear engagement. So I did a couple of pulls on it already off camera, and it was running right around between 9.5 and 10.5 ounces. So I'm going to do a couple more here, and we'll record that on the camera. Again, you'd never want to shoot a springer without having a pellet in there. You get too much. But I am going into my pellet box over here for a safe shot. So my scale had shut off there. I didn't. But let's see what we got. Ooh, that was 12.7. Let's do one more. Hopefully later this afternoon I'll be able to venture out to the range and give this guy another testing. 8.6. Let's do one more, because I don't like that. So the one thing I'm really kind of testing too is when you start getting this light, you really want to make sure your sear engagement is very positive, and so far it really seems to be holding very well. 14.1, so that gives me an average of 11.8. Pretty nice trigger, and I did do a couple of pulls with it just to feel how it feels now, and it feels really nice. Very small single first stage take up, and then just real super crisp break. So anyway, there you go. Some real quick improvements to the Winchester Model 435. Hopefully this will And I don't think those groups with the Norma round nose was because of the problems, any of these problems, but that will help. So this one does like the lighter pellets, but it just with the heavier trigger and not as much power on the scope, I think it was just a little bit too much to ask it for shooting at 25 yards. But now that I've got it set up a lot better, it should do a lot better. So stay tuned, and we'll be getting this guy out to the range hopefully this afternoon and see what we can do with it. Anyway, hope you liked the video. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell and you'll be notified when I do post up new videos. Till next time, have a great day.